Hey everyone, it's the Nitty Professor. I've got a window with sun setting and aiming right at me, but I wanted to do a farewell to sweater weather because now the heat is really going to heat up, as it were. Today was in the 70s, which is probably mild compared to maybe where some of you are, but soon it's only going to get warmer and it'll be t-shirt weather. So I wanted to kind of do like a little party with the sweater projects that I'm actively working on and show you how far I've gotten. Now, will I stop working on them? No, I'll probably, when it's cool enough, break them out, work on them because I love making sweaters. But let's face it, it's going to be more challenging over the coming months to knit on sweaters. So let's just start with the one that is sort of the baby. Getting this one started, and let me see if I can tame it with this needle that I have. So you can see I've got the ribbing for this baby, and some of you remember I purchased this yarn after my trip to Stockholm when I was just determined to get an ultramarine yarn, and I saw this Rauma garn in Stockholm, but I didn't purchase it because I said to myself, why would I bring that back on the plane when I could just as easily order it stateside? So I did that, and I'm starting in this sweater. And I have switched from a size 2 needle to a size 3. My plan is to see how it goes to knit the body of the sweater in a size 3. And for those of you who are new or maybe need a refresher, we've also got this lovely pink that's going into this sweater, a lighter shade of blue. Again, this is the Rauma Finule sport weight yarn, I would say. Some people consider it fingering weight. And I also have white, which is actually left over from a previous project, my Tucson sweater by Jessie Ostermiller. And it looks like those are the colors. So I'm going to kind of privilege the blue and pink. And the sun is really, it is setting, so it's going to move down pretty quickly. The pattern that I'm using is this one. This one here from this book of Finnish sweaters. So clearly my ultramarine blue with the light blue, etc., is going to look drastically different, but I think it'll look really cool. I've kind of got my cheat sheet here to remind me how I'm going to distribute the colors. There is some pink and yellow. I don't know. It's not in my bag. And some orange, but I've got basically the background will be ultramarine, and then there's a lace pattern, which is going to be the light blue. And I wrote on here that the green stuff is going to be green, so if I can find that green, I'll break it out, but it's probably in a tub. And there are flowers that are pink in the sweater. They're going to be yellow, and flowers that are yellow are going to be orange. And the birds are going to be pink. So that pink color that I showed you is going to be those, I don't know if you want to call it birds of paradise, but they're going to be in pink. And from that standpoint, it's going to kind of resemble another sweater that I've been working on. I'm just going to fish around here a little bit more, see if I can find the other colors that I picked out. They're kind of in the bottom, which is fine because I only needed to start out with the colors that I showed you. However, that is the plan on that one. So as you can tell, not very far along, but I love working with this yarn. And sometimes, like if it is warmer weather, if it's summer, there you go, working on that bottom part, it's not hot, right? There's not a whole lot there to keep my lap hot. And there's more room for my cats, which they appreciate. So now let's look at sweater number 2. These are kind of in order of when I started them. This one is going to be maybe a little more familiar because I have showed it off more recently, and you can see how much progress I've made in knitting the body. So we've got these vibrant colors on the bottom with one row that literally has 4 colors in the same row. I've never done that before, and I feel like the gauge on that particular row is going to be a little tight, but I think it's plenty big, so I'm not worried. I've made good progress on that, and this yarn is a very nice yarn. Also, just as nice as the Fenugreek yarn. I've almost finished a skein. Look at that. Oh, almost finished a skein. That is genuine progress. This is from Brown Sheep, and it's more or less of a DK, maybe a slightly heavy DK. So the purpley color, it's called Prairie Spun DK. That's the kind that it is. 100% wool from Mitchell, Nebraska. It's a 3-ply yarn. This one's called Energized Purple, and that's a good color for the summer, right? So to the extent that the sweater isn't huge on my lap and making me hot, I will probably work on it when, you know, on a cooler night, probably for the next month, for some months in the fall. I've got this gorgeous, gorgeous neon yellow, beautiful, beautiful neon green, and these are just some of my favorite colors. I love all colors, as you guys know. And I've also thrown in this variegated yarn, which is hand-dyed from Kleur. Trying to remember, it's a Dutch name, so that doesn't just trip off my tongue. Kleur and Draad. Just sort of guessing at the pronunciation there. I can pronounce German really well, Dutch not so much. But this color is called Oopsie Daisy, and I got that at Stephen B. So that is a really fun skein. And then I have orange. So what am I turning this sweater into, you might ask? Well, I will tell you. And some of you know, and that's cool. I always like to show off my progress. Love to know how you're progressing on any errant sweaters that you have going now that things are warming up. We are going to do the Noordkalotten cardigan, which actually I'm not doing a cardigan, but I'm using the cardigan pattern because it is the right gauge. There is another version of the Noordkalotten sweater, which is a heavier yarn, so I had to pick the cardigan pattern and just adjust it for the stitch count, because the sweater, this only works for, I think it's uses, well, it says Vamsagarn, which is a worsted weight. If it's maybe, might even be a little bit heavier. Whereas this one calls for, it's called Strikegarn. And yeah, I checked the gauge, and I think I'm going to have a roomy sweater and using the DK from Brown Sheep. But it's going to be gorgeous. I have 2 other sweaters that are still in progress, and I'll probably, you know, when the mood hits me, I probably will knit on them. This one you might remember from this Encircled book by Knit Picks, and it's on the front cover here. Let me see if I can find the name. The Eldfell Pullover by Bridget Pupillo. Pupillo. Beautiful. I am using the cashmere yarn that I got last summer from the, no, I'm trying to remember what it's called. And you know, the yarn store in Omaha that closed. And they had stuff for half price. And I thought, well, normally I wouldn't get 100% cashmere yarn, but at half price, I will splurge on it. I don't know, maybe it was a retirement present. I'm not sure. Personal Threads, that's the name of the store. And they have closed. For all I know, they still have yarn left. I don't know. They had their 50% sale going on for weeks, and then months. And my daughter even got in there in person and picked up 1 or 2 things. But these yarns are from Jade Sapphire, and it's 100% Mongolian cashmere. So we have Cousin Coral, that's this one, and this color is Mallard. So the coral is going to be the main color, and then there's some accent colors. This one is called Silver Fox. There we go. Sulfur Fox. Beautiful, so soft. I will look forward to knitting on with this one from time to time. And this one that I rolled up, I did the spots on that bottom section with that yarn. Can I find the name of the color? Maybe not. Let me check. Let's see here. No, I keep finding ones for Cousin Coral because I've already gone through a couple of skeins. Well, at least started the second skein. Well, in any case, it's some kind of pink. Cousin Coral. I keep finding Cousin Coral labels. But in any case, let's just call it pink for today. So, not sure. I haven't even been knitting on this sweater much lately. I've been very, very sidetracked because a few weeks ago, we got our roof done. And then I decided, based on my retirement advisor's advice, that I should borrow money to do the siding. And that was going on this week. So it was quite the chaotic scene all week long. We had a crew of about 5 or 6 workers from Guatemala. And couldn't really speak German or French or English to them. But they were nice and they did super work. If you guys are interested, I'll do like a short video and show you what the house looks like now. It's just amazing transformation. So it's been a week. Had the internet go out of me a few times and had, a few little crises. Today it was the outlet where they were charging their tools went out. And then they had to send over their main guy to figure out that an outlet, a breaker that had never been labeled, that we thought it didn't go to anything, had been tripped. And that the one breaker with no label was the one that went to the outlet. So anyhow, a lot of chaos, but here we are. And yeah, the house looks amazing. Final sweater project I'm going to show you. I have 2 others that have been on the back burner, and I'll probably attend to them as time allows. This is one I am making of hand-spun yarn that I have spun over the years and literally been collecting various shades of turquoise to knit up into a sweater with this red bottom. I actually adore this really unusual combination of the blood red, which I can't remember the colorway now, but it's a fiber that I picked up at a fiber festival, I think, and just various balls here of turquoise-ish yarn that I spun to varying degrees of competence over the years. I like this one especially. I like the evenness of the color. It really is pretty. And, to be honest, these are not all the same kind of fiber. They're not all the same kind of wool. They're primarily wool, but some are superwash, some aren't. Here's the red one. That's how that looks spun up. Really beautiful. And I think here's one that has the Selena in it. And that's going into this. So this is a helical knit type of pattern. And to be honest, I haven't really knit on it a whole lot since Ari arrived because managing these 6 different yarns simultaneously takes, well, let's put it this way, it requires a minimum of chaos. And when I have, 1 or 2 cats in my lap, a couple of dogs running around, and then maybe playing tug of war or wanting for me to throw the ball at them, etc., etc., it gets to be challenging to meet their needs when I can't just set my project off to the side in a second's time. So Ari's getting older, and my son with his 2 dogs, he actually did take off for a few days, and I expect him to do that more often as things move forward. The gas prices are kind of hitting the DoorDash and Uber drivers, which is unfortunate. You may know someone or be someone who's in that situation. If so, my thoughts are with you. Now, so farewell to sweater weather. Just showed you the 4 projects that are probably going to get neglected over the next 4 months. What am I going to be working on? Well, I'll show you a few things. So we're going to stick with the sock theme for now because I have a number of sock projects underway. and those will remain underway. Now, this is the one I started the most recently. This is the one I started in my Hungarian-themed bag to celebrate Hungary. And for those of you who follow my novels, book 9 will have a Hungarian descended character. So I'm going to take advantage of my experience traveling in Hungary and studying Hungarian culture and playing Hungarian music to inform book 9 of my novel. It's a lot of fun. I've decided he will be Catholic because a lot of Hungarians are Catholic, and some Catholic friends and family members are advising me, and that's neat too because it just kind of builds community, you know. But I started this beautiful sock, and I'm almost ready to turn the heel. I'm just so excited. I can't believe that this yarn, which is single ply or unplied, is turning into this robust sock yarn. It's kind of surprising and cool that it's doing that. And it's a Lang yarn. It's made in Italy. It's called Mille Colori for lace and socks. It's 23 to 73% virgin wool, sure voile, 25% nylon, 2% polyester. I'm sure that's the Stellina-y kind of glittery thing. Colorway is, well, we may never know. Well, it looks like that. And it is proving to resemble the label quite closely. It says Color 859. That's what it says, Color 859. A really cool yarn. I am kind of in love with it. Kind of obsessed, which is why I've made almost more progress on this sock than on a couple of the socks that I cast on over the holiday. Another sock that is slowly limping along is this sort of muted alpaca blend from Stephen B. We are working on the cuff, which for me is basically the whole shaft, the whole top part of my socks. I do in a 3x1 rib because I get the positive ease. They don't fall down, and they are still colorful in a relaxing way. This color is called Muse. It's from Black Wattle Yarn, and it is 60% alpaca, 20% merino, and 20% nylon. Very nice yarn. Bought that maybe, trying to think, it was like 4 years ago. I went to visit Stephen B. Went to Minneapolis with my daughter, and of course we went to Red Wing. And here's another sock that is making some progress. This is a Ching fiber yarn with some, I'm trying to remember, nep. Nep is what they call it, some nep. So it's a really nice consistency of yarn. And yeah, any yarn where I'm on the cuff is like, woo, making progress. The cuff, the shaft takes me the longest because it's 8.5 inches and it's the ribbing. But yeah, it's called Donegal sock. It's got merino and nylon with neps. Superwash merino. Yeah, so I don't know if you're going to get a whole lot out of this. Ching fiber, the label, for some reason they thought white on gray would just be woo. Had this yarn for a good while. I think I got it during the pandemic, to be honest, when I was learning how to knit socks, and I thought that would be really cool. So what else am I going to do? Well, I'm going to be spinning. I'm going to be spinning for sure, especially things have calmed down a little bit with my classes, the house, although I'm going to do some painting. So, but you guys are in for a little treat because when I paid way more tax last year than I needed to from my own business, my translation business, because it kind of, I just, you know, I still do it. I'll take any client that comes to me, but I'm not like just running out there trying to find translation clients right now because I really want to focus on editing my books and getting them out on the novel. So I still do translation work, but the volume is probably like half of what I used to do. So I way overpaid on my taxes and got that money back. And I was like, I got to treat myself. I just want to do something to treat myself. Worked really hard during that money, and I got this sort of, you know, lump sum coming back. So I have bought, I'll just say this much, I have bought a fun spinning wheel. It's coming next week, and I will do probably a few videos with that baby, a review, an unboxing, and then do some spinning projects on it. So I plan to be spinning this summer a fair amount. That is something that I can do with the fan going, and I'm just holding thread. I'm not holding, like, you know, a sweater in my lap. So it's a really good summer activity, and I might shoot for maybe some Christmas type things, even if it's just like the balls from Arnie and Carlos, or like Christmas stockings, something that's kind of doesn't take a whole lot of lap room. So those are some things that I have in mind. So feel free to share. I'd love to know what, you know, if you're finishing up some sweaters too, you're going to set them aside, or if you're just going to keep plowing ahead and just let the beads of sweat form on your forehead while you know, churn them out. I might do some of that. I'm not thinking I'll do like a whole lot, but I'm not going to rule it out, right? I'm not going to rule it out. But what you might be working on this summer in your fiber crafting world, love to hear from you. Appreciate your attention and you guys in general. Hope you have a wonderful weekend, and we'll talk soon. Ciao.